a new innovation from us this year is a partner panel, and our CEOs or executives from partners of Siinda and also partners of the publishers that you just heard on stage. And the interesting part is, of course, if we first go a bit on the technology side, and I will actually ask all of you the same, and it's not in the preparation. Because where do you see your platform going? Because you can say, if you looked, all of you, was a happy family and was a substitute product or a vertical product. And today, I would say, yeah, you saw yesterday the partnership of Leadsai with Uberal. What is Yex's reaction to that, so to say? And for instance, Visita, you also go into more broader. You are maybe a competitive or a supplement to Brandon's Vandesta. Spotzer, you are an outsourcing partner, have your own technology. So therefore, it's interesting to hear from each of you. Where do you see your future, and how do you see this partnering or, yeah, taking customers from each other? So Brandon, you are the biggest one, so maybe you start.
Wow, he's trying to get to the controversy right away.
Yes.
You know, for us, it's all about, like, we have a pretty strong vision to provide it, is to allow our partners, our customers, our channel partners, you folks, to provide everything that a small business needs to run their business. So we've got a marketplace of products, including some of our own, and then we, you know, have a platform so they can market, sell, build, fulfill, and deliver those products and services. So most people can actually be considered as part of our ecosystem. So in some ways, I mean, obviously there's things that we do that other people do, and we see them as, I guess the word would be frenemies, but you know, if you look at listings in our platform, we have both Uberal and Yext, and we're very happy to be able to provide those in our platform. There's more difficult platforms that do some of the same things we do, like Visita does. But the world's a pretty big place. There's a lot of SMBs out there, and you know, I think generally speaking, I don't necessarily think about Visita as a competitor in that way. I mean, even though you are definitely a competitor, I think there's there's room though for us to work together at some point. And so I always keep the eye open for possibilities, but we're just trying to execute on our vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our business is evolving super fast. I mean, we actually started as a business as video production, which a lot of people know about. And then quickly moved into websites, and then paid search, and then social, SEO. But we work with all of these guys in some shape or form, and we pretty much work with everybody that in some shape or form that's in this room. We are always really open if it makes commercial sense and we believe in the offer or what the potential is, we will go in that direction. And sometimes we go in that direction and we realise it's actually not going to make sense. And then it's the hard call to pull back, because when you've invested into something and you want to keep giving it a go, then you realise, well, maybe it's not going to work. You know, it's a big call then to pull that back. But I mean, we're always evolving our business, just like all the other businesses, all the tech businesses, and that's just part and the parcel of what you have to do.
Yeah.
You know, and for us, we've made a distinct focus in Europe. You know, so we are local. We're also in Australia. We're local there, and we do a bit in the US, but we don't really have any interest in going outside of that. And we think there's a big place, a big play in the European market to get to know the nuances of each country, and that's kind of where we've put our focus.
Okay.
Right. So, what a great first question, talking about competition, and congratulations with your press release, very well timed. But look, I never allow anyone that work for me to say anything bad about the competition. We have phenomenal competition in this market. Our competition has kept us on our toes, and it forces us to become better. And I wouldn't for one moment say that Yext has done everything right over the last few years. There are big questions at the top of every organization. How do you differentiate? Which avenue do you go into to add complementary services to your solution? How do you do it without neglecting the core? And those questions are very difficult. And I'm not going to say for any moment that we've always got it right. But one thing I want to say is that our competition is definitely forcing us to take a good hard look at what made us successful, and that we double down on those things that is important to our customers. And doubling down to listen to what the people that use our technology say to us. How do we incorporate that at a faster and more effective speed into our product roadmap? How do we do more releases every year to make sure that any distractions or deviations we've had in the past don't slow us down?
Yeah, I will take a very similar approach to Brandon. I think you said it very right. We see ourselves first and foremost, the mission is to help our partners to bring the best of the solutions that can be brought to SMBs. And we have partners that integrate Yext or Uber or Duda or many other solutions with our platform. And we have some core functionalities within our platform, such as scheduling and billing, et cetera, that we provide ourselves. But it's mostly about bringing the best solution to the market. So, we are working with many different businesses, as you said. I think with most of vendors out here, and definitely I agree with the approach.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi. The disadvantage of being the last one to say something about something is that everybody already said everything. So let me try to have two angles into this, or to add two angles into this conversation. One of them is that I think that Siinda is the quintessential example of companies that collaborate, compete, work together, make joint ventures, and that has been the world for a long time. So I think that will continue. We will have, all of us will have interest in certain markets or in certain verticals or in certain parts of the world where it might make sense to collaborate, in other places where it might make sense to compete. And that's just the nature of the industry that we live in. And I think that will not change. The second thing that I would like to mention is that, and to Jon's question, is that I never felt, and I've been around for a while, I never felt that I owned the customer. I never felt that customers were mine. I think that our job is to demonstrate everyday value to our customers. It's a privilege to serve them. And the day that we stop demonstrating value, someone else will. And that is not because I stole a customer from anyone or anyone stole a customer from me. It's just because, I was looking somewhere else and someone came up and delivered better value, more value. And someone said, hey, the value that I was before having from you, now I have from someone else. And that should keep us on our toes to constantly improve our solutions and constantly improve our products and constantly improve our services and constantly capture and demonstrate value to our customers.
Thank you. That's a good answer from everyone. So we are not going to have a fierceful competition. I thought we could now have a chances to drive down the prices. That would be, of course, beneficial for our side of the negotiation. So, yeah. So if we go a bit more into this, we have AI-supported search, ChatGPT, voice search, and visual search. How do you see these technologies will adapt it on your and on the search in the future? Maybe Nico from Yext can.
So many of you know Christian Ward, our Chief Data Officer. He's a friend of many of you here. And Christian is half human, half AI. I mean, he's crossed the mark into AI. And he writes a weekly blog that you should sign up to it. So he's touching the tip of the iceberg. And for Christian to feel that it's overwhelming, all the new developments, releases that are coming each week. Imagine what it feels like for someone that is just 100% human. So one thing what we basically decided is that your AI strategy is your data strategy. And because our end consumers, the plumber, the pub landlord, the dentist, I mean, they don't even think about these new tools coming out. They've got their businesses to focus on. So Christian did a study to see where does all the ChatGPT, Gemini, what data sources do they use to actually pull their information from. And he realized that the long tail of publishers are actually far more important than we probably give them credit to. And basically, a long story short, we did a huge SEO study on this. Hundreds of thousands of locations has been live on the publisher network for over a year. And the report of that, if you look at the scatter graph, is actually quite astounding. The more each location is live on the extended publisher network, the more results you get on Google. And yes, I mean, these extended publisher networks might not matter to I mean, who's visiting some of them, but if they matter to Google, then it should be very important to all of us. So really, in order to provide the best service to our customers and to make sure that they have the best potential to show up in all these new changing technology landscape, we just want to make sure that their data strategy is consistent in all the places that matter to the big publishers like Google.
That's a great answer. So if you then look to privacy and compliance concerns, Pete, you have a lot of customers in the room. You might be the one who have privacy issues and all of this in your neck. How do you see this going?
Yeah, I mean, great question. Obviously, we deal with a lot of blue chip brands that we represent and partner with. So compliance is always a big deal for us. We're always getting tested. You know, I mean, we're dealing with a bunch of folks here who've got substantial businesses, and we deal with some major telcos around the world who are listed billion-dollar turnovers. So we take that really seriously. It's becoming more an area that we have to really stay on top of. I would say almost weekly, definitely monthly. I think previously it was kind of we would look at things probably every quarter. We're looking, you know, within our tech team, our product and tech team, we have kind of like a virtual support around that that's keeping abreast of the different elements that we need to have that's embedded into the business to keep everything safe and protected. I think that the role as well that Siinda plays in that, and the good work that Stephanie does in lobbying for this community is becoming even more important than it's ever been before. I mean, we thought it was before with all the different regulations that came out, particularly in the EU. But as we go with DMA as well, I think it's super important that we get behind the work that Stephanie's going to do. And I know that for us as a business, you know, we'll be looking at Siinda as the leading light on that to advise us as well. So yeah, super important, takes up a lot more energy and time, but it's something that we have to do to stay alive as a business and to protect our partners.
Okay, thank you. Then maybe Luis on data analytics, real-time insights in advertising campaigns. I think that's...
None of these questions are anything.
Listen, let me say two things about that. One of them, to your previous question, I think that AI is basically allowing us, businesses, customers, to have superpowers, right? And that we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think that we are on the early stages of it. And I think that we could all agree that it will be transformational. We don't necessarily all agree where is it going. And like each time that you have superpowers, you're going to have superheroes, you're going to have supervillains. And then, we're back to the dichotomy of good and evil, so which is always good since Star Wars, at least. But to your point, I think that when we look at partnerships and data and whatever, I think that there's a fair chance that what commanded partnerships a few years ago was feature-centric, right? So you would partner with someone so that you could have a certain feature that you didn't have, or you partner with someone to enhance a certain feature that although you had it, you could have it better. I think that today, and back to Nico's point and Christian being the living embodiment of that, I think that the world is more and more data-driven, and I think that partnerships that will be meaningful today are partnerships that are anchored in data, not in features. I think that trend will continue, and I think that features will become essentially relatively obsolete, because we are all going to have spectacular offers that are incredibly feature-rich, and quite honestly, each time that we'll make the release of a new version or a new product or whatever, nobody really cares about the 132 new features it brings, right? People will care about the impact, the outcome that will have.
Okay.
I would like to say something about AI to your question, also to the session before this one that was very interesting, the CEO panel about AI. I really much agree that the AI is about data. But I think that even though we are well over a year into the Gen AI revolution, no one of our customers at the moment, SMBs, most of them don't derive any value from it. That's the reality. Poll shows that. They don't know how to use that. And I think our job is to make it accessible for them, making it useful for them. And I think, again, going back to the fact that it's about data, I think this is about teaching AI the data that the SMB has. Because if you have an assistant, it is only as good as the amount of information it has about the business and insight about the business that the assistant can actually, whether it's a human assistant or a digital assistant, by the way, can actually help you with taking decision, creating campaigns, whatever it is, the task, automating some day-to-day task, answering customers on your behalf, etc. So at Visita, what we try to do is we try to take the AI new superpower and make sure that it's useful for the SMBs, because they're not going to go and teach ChatGPT everything that there is to know about the business before asking ChatGPT a question. And if they're going to ask ChatGPT a question about the business, whether it's how to price the business or write them a campaign or whatever, they're only going to get a generic answer that is maybe true for many businesses, but not specifically true for them. It might be the wrong answer for them. So that's how we look at AI and how it can help SMBs. And I think data is the key. And because data is the key here, I think collaboration between different solutions also becomes the key, because if there is one solution building the website and one solution dealing with the calendaring, another solution dealing with reputation, only an assistant that actually knows all these different segments can actually provide deep value to the SMB. And I think that's the mission we should all take when it comes to AI and the future. And I do agree that also nobody to the discussion that was held here before, I think it's very, very, very hard to really anticipate or know what's going to happen years from now with AI. It's so disruptive, it's so moving so quickly that we just need to look at the next year or two, optimize to that, and then figure out things later as we move along.
Yeah, maybe to Brand, if you look to AI development and Vendesta, I know you are very successful in the Americas.
Yeah.
And the question is then, how much do you see? It's a human B2B sales of and you are probably having a lot of self-service sales and maybe AI-driven sales in Vendesta's platform. How do you see that? If you listen to the CEO panel in the beginning, where you have Hosni saying no salespeople and they all bought by Müller in the future, and he also took over Swisscom because they do the same. So how do you see that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So a couple of comments just that will lead into this on the AI front. So both Itzik and Nico said something really important. One is that it is about the data. So you got to get that straight. Otherwise, garbage in, garbage out for AI or anything else. And the other thing is our core purpose is to democratize technology for local businesses by making it easy, accessible, and affordable. So technology, no matter how good, is not any good to a small business if they can't get at it. So with that context, that's really what is happening in the world of AI. So I listened with great interest to the different CEOs talking about how their sales would move. And I think what people aren't realizing is that AI is a person. It's a whole bunch of people at your company, actually. You should think about AI as people that work for you to some extent. And we've got some. We're a bit of a. We've been doing AI for a long time. I always talk about Amara's law. That technology is overestimated in the short term, but drastically underestimated long term. And we've kind of reached that tipping point, not the singularity, but a tipping point where AI has really become important with the release of GTP chat. It became understandable to people. And what happens now is that some of the work that we've seen, some of the chats that the AI can have with people is better than a person could be. Because the better than a person can handle it. And the reason is people want to take action, they want to get it, they want answers, and then they want to be able to book something or buy something or pay for something or do something or have a plumber come see them, whatever it might be. But they need answers, and AI, is got all the data if it's organized correctly, and can provide those answers in a really cohesive way. It can even have empathy and build a sales rapport. So over time, there will always be a way where some of that initial information discovery will be handled by AI. But at the end of the day, until there's a robot that can come and do your plumbing, it's going to be a plumber that comes and does your plumbing. So I think, for me, AI is a tool, and it's like having people at your company. It's like any other technology. It's going to allow you to take the employees you have and let them add more value. So, and that's our job as a vendor. Is we're investing $50 million a year in R&D, and we're doing that so that we can provide our customers, which we call partners, to be able to provide that technology, to organize all that data, and move from the marketing and advertising side of the world to be able to provide all the things that small business wants in answers, CRM, communications, booking and scheduling, billing and payments. All of those things need to be, you can't just sell advertising and marketing anymore.
Okay. Thank you. If we then switch gear, go over to second topic, retain and get management and retain talent. Maybe that's a good question for Yext, because you are the most global business on stage, to my knowledge, with people and offices all over the world. So, what can you learn from, how Yext are dealing with these questions, and what can, the crowd here learn from you and Yext in the area of talent management and keeping people and let them grow?
So this is my fourth Siinda. And this is an event like no other I've ever attended. The sense of community and the sense of culture here is very special. So if this is the world you live in, you've never seen what outside events and anything look like, I can tell you that this is special. So this is the sense of being bound together, a sense of community, and that is culture. And culture is something that is very important to me across all the different business units. I manage the different regions. Culture is very different in Tokyo, in Japan, than it is in Hyderabad, that it is in Berlin, and that it is in London. So none of us should have a staff attrition problem at the moment, because the job market sucks. If you have a staff attrition problem, there's something significantly wrong within the organization. And Harvard Business Review, they did a huge study a while ago to find out why do people actually leave their jobs. And interestingly, getting more money was often not in the top 3. The number one factor was your boss sucks. Your boss sucks. Now, there's something we can do about that. We can be good, empathetic leaders. We can make sure that the leaders around us are good, empathetic leaders that connect with with their team members. And actually, I believe in a servant leadership model. I serve the people that I work for in exchange for good performance. There's a value exchange. I actually banned leaders from coming into the office and sitting in their office. They don't have offices anymore. Why the hell would you go into an office and then go sit in an office? So everyone sits on the floor. You build that culture. The second point is a lack of recognition. They don't feel valued. It's not always tied to, it doesn't have to be a retention bonus at the end of the fiscal. Giving recognition in your Monday morning starting call for the region, your all hands. If you've got an open plan office, walking up to someone and shaking their hand and saying, "You're doing a great job. Well done, Pete. You're doing a great job." That goes a long way. And so there are many factors that we look at to create that sense of belonging and a sense of culture across a business. And there's also career. People don't feel challenged anymore. There's not enough career development. So we've got an upwards mobility plan to make sure that people get access to those particular roles that they're interested in, and they feel that they're progressing within the company.
Thank you. So, first, it's not more money, it's a better boss. Your statement. I think that's a good one. So that's also challenging for it's also good for us to take that it's not only about paying people more money, it's about treating them well, be a good manager and living by example and be on the floor. So I think that's a good advice from Nico. If you then go in, last questions to everyone by the end is partnerships platforms. We heard about the AI. How do you have successful partnerships and how do you sell your platform in the future? Because with AI, you probably don't need us partners to sell because it's all just put it online, there is a smart machine and then you have all sold and you cut out, say, us who is focusing on sales and marketing could be one way. How do you see it, Brandon, if you start from left to the right? How would Wandesta find and good partners in the future?
Everybody needs partners. There's Microsoft and Google need partners. We don't sell direct to small businesses, and we build a platform. That's what we're good at. So we have our core competencies, and that's what we focus on is building the technology to help enable our partners to provide everything those small businesses need. So I think it just comes straight down to that. It's to be a good partner. AI. Obviously, there's a different sort of, you asked a different question about how we do in Europe. We have a lot of agencies in Europe that are small agencies that self-sign up to our platform, use our platform to sell to local businesses. But bigger partners, like the folks in this room, from the Wandesta part of the platform, it's a big ask to ask somebody to, hey, abandon whatever you're using for marketing automation, like a Pardot or a Marketo, and then use our CRM instead of a Salesforce or a Pipedrive or an Oracle. And then maybe for delivery, you're using a Trello or all these different products. More and more, as we build out the integrations we need, we're able to work with larger and larger partners. We have a lot of partners, Yellow Page and telcos, that use our platform to run their entire business for the products that they sell to their SMBs. So for us, again, it's about a partnership where we're providing the value that we can to those partners, and they're doing what they're good at. And so I don't think there's a world where there won't be salespeople at some point. I mean, there's always, the salespeople just have different roles, is what I'm trying to say. I think that's where, Hosni and Michael are more aligned than they think. It's just a spectrum, and over time, things change.
Thank you. Pete?
Yeah, I mean, echoing that, partnerships, that's fundamental to who we are, what we do. I think with AI coming in, it's just another thing that we are working together on. Our model is very much that we have a platform with a set journey and product sets, but we build bespoke as well to meet the needs of a particular partner. There's some inefficiencies around that, but it's not too wild. It's just working closely with partners around what do they have as their strategy? How can we support them? You know, in really getting into kind of custom build as a real technology partner in supporting a partner on their strategy to execute. And generally, most of them are very similar. I think that what we then see, and also we've got our business in Australia, which is really pumping and moving ahead in a fast way. I wouldn't say faster than here, but they're different things, different topics that we have to deal with there. And I think that when we're talking to all of the different partners that we do talk to, and we can learn around what it is that they need from a custom perspective, that allows us then to build and continue to build, but also to consult. And we can see what's working and what's not working. And for us, the partnership management team that we have, in working close with our partners, in being that trusted advisor at a local level, really works for us, and I don't see that ever changing.
Next, Nico, how do you see about
Well, I think it's an expectation now to be connected to all the most important technologies out there. So our app directory is growing. There's limited. We've got limited resources to take advantage of all the technological developments that's out there. So we integrate with the companies that can give us that scale. That will just continue to evolve and progress as expectations around connectivity consistently increases.
Okay, thank you.
We used to sell directly to customers, to SMB customers. About 5 years ago, we kind of moved that to be. We still have some, few thousands of paying customers, but we completely moved towards working with partners. And our work with the partners is far away from being transactional. It's an ongoing relationship. Of course, we need our partners to get to the market. We need our partners to build around our platform and to take solutions to the market. And we really work hard to keep the relationship and the ongoing discussion in a way that will actually result in those great solutions to the market. So I think it's not gonna change significantly, at least not for us.
Thank you. Louis, you get
Yeah,
the last word. So.
To wrap it up, maybe a thought that I think that on the previous panel we had a fascinating conversation around whether we need more salespeople or less salespeople. I think that when it comes to partnerships, the human relationship is a fundamental part of it. I'm not sure if that will be like that forever, but from experience, at the end of the day, people work with people they like to work with, people work with people that they trust. Partnerships that are seemingly, unexpected happen because people change and because people talk to people that they trust, they like to work with, they have good experiences with, and I don't think that will change.
That's very nice word from Luis. I think he is known as one of the better partnership developers in the room. So of course it's worth to listen to him, and it's also therefore he also believes in the person talking to a person in the world where we will have a problem, challenging times, knowing what is false and what is true. I also think that the personal interface will be important. If you call them salespeople, customer success managers, sales executives, there will always be different names, but the function, what they do, I think will always be the same. So with that, thank you to everyone. Give them a big hand, and next on stage, thank you.